Respected audience, very good evening. Distinguished speakers, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us. First of all, I would like to thank EPI for inviting ESL. I'm not sure if all of you are aware of what ESL is about, so I'll try and be very crisp and to the point what ESL is doing. I would like to go back 2 days ago, when this session was, or this workshop was inaugurated by Mr. Harry, and the theme of the conference was, democracy versus development. We had eminent speakers, discussing on this, whether it should be democracy versus development, or yeah, or whether it is democracy and development. So it's a chicken and egg story. So I don't want to go into that. But the perception, my perception is that unless we look at empowering all the sectors of this country, be it the health, be it the education sector and the power sector, we really are not going to get any development. Some of the conference agendas have been indeed provocating in the sense that people have spoken of ambitious ideas of power for all, increasing the generation capacity and retail pricing, trading and stuff like that. But the fact of the matter is this country does not have energy security. 300 million people are without electricity. Peak energy deficits of 13% are being reported. There are interruptions which don't get reported at all in the urban sector. So we are really looking at a very dark story here. So unless these issues are addressed, development can only be a wish list for us. So it is but obvious that supply side management has failed to meet the expectations of the country. And with the difficulties which we are having now, the incremental cost of adding this generation is only going to become more and more challenging for us to meet this objective of increased economic growth vis-a-vis electricity in the country. So obviously there is a means, or there is a need for developing a supplemental tool which can help further our efforts of meeting this supply and demand gap, and that's demand side management. That is what ESL has been formed for. We all know the economic advantages of demand side management. If that is of interest, why we should go for demand side management other than the technical advantages. It has been demonstrated through many pilot projects, not only in India but globally, that the investment required for saving 1 unit through DSM would be 1/2 than what would be required to meet that load through the addition of new generation capacities. And this coupled with the fact that 1 unit saved at the load end is equivalent to 2 units. So obviously DSM offers a 4 times of economic advantage as compared to supply side management. So there is a DSM estimate business potential of 50,000 crores in the country, but nothing has actually happened. You have this Energy Conservation Act. So many task forces have been formed. The action taken report has been tabled and stuff, and all that. We have studied enough of global best practices, case studies, pilot projects, but actually nothing has happened in the field. So that is how ESL was formed. The Ministry of Power felt that there is a need to mandate a company with the task of implementing energy efficiency projects across the industry spectrum. So I will not go into what all activities we are going to do. So we are, as I said, working across the industry spectrum. So all of these are part of demand side management. So unless we do this, we are really, we are talking of smart grid and power for all, that's okay. But unless we are able to leverage from the existing infrastructure, make the existing infrastructure good and self-sufficient, as I said, we are only talking about our wish lists. I would not go what is into demand side management. But the biggest advantage of demand side management is it enables you to look at the entire supply chain, whether it's the transmission, the generation, or the distribution, and of course the load end, as one complete chain. So if you are affecting a change at the load end, the advantages will be seen at across the chain. I will not go into figures. That's obviously known to everyone. We have a very learned audience. The point I want to highlight here is that there is a 20%, as per the latest NMEEE estimates under the National Action Plan for Climate Change, that is unveiled strategies. I think in the previous slide, someone was sharing, whether it is time of the day tariff, or it is flattening of the peak curves, or it is strategic conservation, using maybe the furnaces or energy efficient lightings or pumps, whatever it could be. These are the broad 3 ways by which we can categorize various energy efficiency measures as DSM activities. Now, I've already told the challenges which are facing us. I will not go into this. Coming to the financing options, now we go to DISCOMs, they say that we don't have capital funds. And the other option is they keep on incurring the high revenue losses. Well, why don't we look at an energy services company like ESL who is willing to invest? But then the DISCOMs say we don't have any mandates from the electricity regulatory companies. But then the Forum of Regulators, which was created about 6 years back in 2007 after the conference of chief ministers of various states, it has come out with a guideline for various electricity commissions across the states. I think this DSM has been mandated in 9 states, but still, because of elections and other political reasons, nothing much is being done by most of the DISCOMs in the country. So I would like to appeal to all the electricity regulatory commissions who are here today amongst us, and as also some of the DISCOMs, the commissioners and whoever is there. We are willing, as ESL, we are willing to invest in these projects, whether it is a lighting project or a refrigerator kind of a project, and use the energy savings to take the initial capital out. Different market drivers would need different, SME is a totally different sector, so our experience has been totally different. Industry, I will not go into these. One, I'll just highlight this slide. We know that there are 5 resources of energy in India today. Primary sources of energy, what we could call. Water, hydro we call it. Coal, which accounts for nearly 60% of India's generating capacity. Then, of course, you have the gas. Then you have the captive, which is primarily on oil. And then the 5th is the renewable sources, whether it's wind or solar or the fuel cells. We are looking at demand side management as the 6th source of energy for the country. The way you have these power purchase agreements, long-term power purchase agreements. Why don't DISCOMs come to us and have a long-term energy efficiency or a DSM kind of a contract with ESL? We are willing to take that risk. So we are enabling a 6th source of supply for this country. So that is our mandate. And then, of course, we have been proposing to many electricity regulatory commissions on various models, so I will not go into that. Just last slide, some of the areas on which we are currently working. Agricultural DSM. We are doing the country's first ESCO project at Hubli in HESCOM, where we are replacing 11,000 pumps through our own investment. Energy savings will be used to pay back the initial investment. Municipal sector, again, whether it's street lighting or water pumping, buildings. Then, of course, we are working with many state governments on various consultancy assignments, capacity building. And then, of course, some of the BE schemes, the standards and labeling program and the PAT scheme, where designated consumers have been notified. This all is being done by ESL. So this is all I had to present to you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.